Okay. I don't think Janet knows I'm recording this. She just stepped away to get another cup of coffee, so here's my chance. Hey everyone, it's Andy from the United Way of the Northern Shenandoah Valley. And yes, Janet, if you're hearing this, surprise. We're still celebrating the Valley Today's 2500th episode and this awesome community fundraiser you came up with. Here's the deal. Between now and the end of the year, it's Janet's goal to raise $2,500 to support the great work of the nonprofits in this community. If you give just $25 or more, you're going to be entered into a chance to be a guest on the show with Janet. If you give $250 or more, we'll make you a commercial just like this one that will air on the Valley Today podcast. So go to givebutter.com/The Valley Today right now before Janet realizes that I've hijacked her airtime. She's walking back in, cup of coffee in hand, gotta go. Remember to donate between now and the end of the year and support the great work of so many nonprofits and celebrate 2,500 episodes of the Valley Today.
Hello and welcome to the Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is a bonus Valley Health episode this month. I am sitting on the campus of Winchester Medical Center talking with Chris Rucker. He is the Chief Administrative Officer here for Valley Health. And Chris, it's always fun to come and hang out and have a conversation with you. I joked when I walked in the door that you rearranged your office a little bit. Is that because more people are coming in and wanting to have conversations with you, that you need more than just two chairs?
Janet, I'm glad you asked that. Yes, I record podcasts in here 5 days a week now. Just teasing. We're so glad that you're here. And you introduced me so well and make me feel and sound so important.
That's kind of my job.
I see.
Apparently I do too good of a job with it, because every time Dr. Fight hears the show, I catch a fair amount of grief. So you two need to work out your differences.
We have, I think there's some sort of friendly competition there to see who you like best.
I know. And the truth of the matter is Jason Craig's a sleeper. Y'all need to be more worried about Jason Craig.
That's true. That's true. Well, we've got lots of good people at Valley Health, definitely. We're very lucky.
And that's what we're going to talk about today, because I understand that Valley Health, as a healthcare organization, has won several awards just this year for employee engagement, for being a great employer. Tell me about some of those.
Yeah, we have, and that is exciting. First, let me explain maybe why it's exciting. Everybody wants to work for a good employer. Everybody wants to enjoy the work that they do. But to turn that around as the people receiving health care, we all want to be cared for by people who enjoy their job, like their employer, and are truly invested in the work that they do. And so we are absolutely focused on our employees as being a first place of thought in everything that we do. And we're pleased that that shows. The things you're referring to are not awards that we apply for or submit data for. They're done independently by research organizations to identify employers that are great places to work. And they look at a lot of factors, but one that is the most influential is they interview existing employees and ask them about what it's like to work at Valley Health. And knowing that that's the basis of the awards and the recognition makes it all that more sweet to us, impressive to us, knowing that this is how our employees feel. And that's really great. And again, you and I and our family members and our neighbors and everybody that's receiving care at Valley Health somewhere should feel extra safe and extra well cared for, knowing that the people that they're working with are in an award-winning organization.
It also speaks to the fact that this is not an easy job to have. Any job in healthcare is never an easy job. So the fact that people enjoy it through some of the not great days and stay here for as long as they do. You've got a lot of employees. My husband's father retired from Valley Health. His stepmother retired from Valley Health. They were here for 20, 30 years.
Wow. Thank them. I didn't know that. Thank them, please, for their service. And you're right. It can be a stressful job. It can be a difficult job. Going back to the beginning of time, there were always people in every community and every cave and every tribe and every whatever that were the folks that helped others in their time of need. And today, a form of that are healthcare workers. Every community needs them. Every community relies upon them. I think it's a special calling, the work that our people do. Whether they're providing direct patient care or not, everybody is a caregiver. And the folks I often give as examples when I talk with new groups of employees, if you're a construction worker, You can be a construction worker at Valley Health, and the work you're doing is helping provide great health care. And if you're an air conditioning repair person, or you're a car valet, or you're a public safety officer, whatever, doing it under the umbrella of healthcare makes it even all that much more special and all that more of a cool thing for somebody to do.
I don't think we as a general population think about it in those terms. They're playing a role in our healthcare, whether we're just doing a doctor's visit or we have to have a stay in the hospital. But we also don't think about the diversity of the types of people that work here. Not everybody that works for Valley Health is a nurse or a doctor.
Yeah, we've got at least one of just about everything you can name. 6,200 employees and literally just about one of everything. And there's a lot of folks that we don't think of necessarily right off the top of our heads. One group that comes to mind, because I'm going to be coming in on our overnight shift to hand out Thanksgiving turkeys, but one group that comes to mind is we've got a whole crew of people that polish up the hospital overnight while everybody's sleeping. It's an ideal time to clean and polish floors and patch and paint walls if a wheelchair bumped in somewhere or whatever. But all that is to give the best first impression and build the most confidence that we can for patients and families. When you walk in, you're in a new, modern location that looks clean. You're not looking at stained ceiling tiles or chipped paint on the back of a restroom door or whatever. We've got folks going around all the time making sure that those little details are thought of, because when you need us, we want you to have the absolute most confidence in the care that you're going to receive.
I want to go back to the turkeys for a second, because there are a lot of organizations in our area that value their employees, but that's all that they do. They don't do the extra. Here, we want to give you a turkey, or recognizing employees as employee of the month, or outstanding service. You guys do all of that here.
We do. We have a lot of programs or traditions to recognize employees. Turkeys are one that is also kind of about family. One of the things that we are thoughtful about when we're recognizing our team members or appreciating our team members is being thoughtful and inclusive of the family members. Because of the stress and the 24/7 nature of the job of the operations, it does take a toll on families as well. Some people are on rotating shifts, and so you don't know if mom or dad is sleeping at night or the daytime this week, all that sort of stuff. So we enjoy handing out Thanksgiving turkeys. It's a great chance to see folks when they're off duty and pull up with their kids and get a turkey. Matter of fact, I think our CEO, Mark Nance, is wearing a turkey suit today.
No, he is not.
A few years ago, we were at one of our hospitals. He was dressed up as a turkey, and there was an older gentleman there. He thought he was a duck. So I told him he needed a better turkey costume. But anyway, we do a lot of great stuff with employees and want them to feel special and feel rewarded. And a big part of it is also, I guess, the psychology, if you will, of that stress is it's something that a lot of people don't understand, but your coworkers do. And so doing events where we're all together, like a couple months ago, we did 3 different weekends. We did fall family fun days. And everybody comes out and they bring their kids and they get a corn dog, a bag of popcorn, a pumpkin, a bounce house, just whatever. And it's just like a big fun family picnic. But you're doing it with people that you work with who may have been part of a very emotionally difficult week that you just had, or was that person that was there for you when you were feeling especially down one time. So it's all about family. It's not just our coworkers, but it's our coworkers' family, and it's that sense of being part of a bigger community.
It's also really smart from a business perspective. I had a lot of conversations over the years with our EDAs about workforce retention. People are not staying at jobs these days for an extra dollar anymore. They're staying at jobs because they feel like they're needed and they're appreciated, and maybe you're paying for them to continue their education, or you're doing the free turkey thing. That's what people are looking for to stay in jobs longer now.
I think you're absolutely right. We have broadly 5 different generations of the workforce. Granted, there's some generalities, but there are some general truths in those generalities. Our younger employees are definitely interested in development. How do I learn more? How do I grow the ability to do more, or to have more autonomy, or to learn what the next job is? How do I promote? How do I get a raise? So it's those factors and thinking about what each individual employee type wants. It's part of what makes us a great employer. We put a lot of thought into what's important to our employees.
You also have a lot on the line in that I can go to Target, and on any given day, I might interact with one or two employees. They might have 30 or 40 employees overall in a certain location, but I would interact with your employees on a much broader basis at potentially the worst time of my life, and they have to be on point. It's one thing to go into Target and somebody not say, hi, how are you? And I don't think anything of it. I'm staying in the hospital and somebody doesn't say good morning. It takes on a different type of connotation when you're in healthcare. So you've got a lot of expectations.
Absolutely. In almost all cases, most people aren't seeking care at one of our hospitals or physician offices because something great is happening that day. And so our job is to make it a good memory for them. And that's everything about that experience. It's making them feel comfortable. It's checking back in with them. It's explaining the time delays. Or if you're waiting 20 minutes for a lab test and it takes 25, you're wondering, oh my gosh, what happened? It must be bad.
It must be bad.
I'm the worst hypochondriac. So I think a lot of us probably think that way.
That's going to be a whole other show now. That just gave me an idea about the hypochondria of Chris Rucker.
Yeah, and those of you, if you're out there and you can hear my voice, no, I'm just kidding. Absolutely. It's giving them the best possible experience and the best possible clinical care. And both are essential. And we often mention when we're talking with groups of employees and physicians and whatnot, most of our patients don't have the medical or scientific insight to know whether or not we did a good job from a medical or scientific standpoint. They only know how we made them feel. Mm-hmm. Now, we've got to be really good at reading x-rays and really good at starting IVs and really good at performing surgeries and not make mistakes on medications. But that's all table stakes. They expect that. What we're really being measured on is how we make people feel.
And you also have the added issue of shortages. People are not going to nursing school like they used to. People are not interested necessarily in getting into the healthcare field. So you've really got to search harder sometimes to find those people.
We do, and boy, when you find them, you do anything you can to hang on to them. So yes, there's a nationwide healthcare provider shortage, from physicians to pharmacy techs and phlebotomists and the full range of everything in between. We're pretty good at developing those partnerships and pipelines with our regional schools, the nursing schools and PA and NP programs and the phlebotomy programs and the lab technician programs. So I think we're really lucky that we're not suffering as much as some parts of the country. In fact, a commonly cited statistic, our nurse retention is among the best in the nation. So we've done a really good job of being a great place for nurses and other clinicians to work. Nurses are the largest part of our workforce. They're the single largest group of employees with a common license, certification, and job.
There were very few good things that came out of the pandemic, but I think one of the good things that did was the general public's appreciation for nurses.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to turn this into a bad direction, it's interesting how quick that can go away and people can be disrespectful or abusive or threatening to healthcare workers. And you wouldn't think that people like me and my colleagues, how often we have to talk about employees being assaulted or threatened, injured. It's a daily occurrence. And I hate to say it, but that's one of the things that we have to fight against. If you're a great place to work, but you get punched in the nose, it doesn't really matter how much your supervisor wanted to help you go to nursing school, right?
Right, yeah.
You think, I got punched in the nose. These folks, they're serving us with their emotions at stake. They're giving of themselves. And in many cases, they're being assaulted or intimidated. And we have a zero tolerance policy for that. If you want your family members to be able to visit you, don't let them be disrespectful to our staff.
Are you hiring? Are you always hiring? Is there always a position here that needs to be filled?
Yeah, we are always hiring. It's like the Golden Gate Bridge, I think, is always being painted. They start at one end, get to the other, and then
It's time to
turn
work
back
the right
around. So yeah, we are always hiring. We hire about 100 employees a month, 100 to 120 people a month. Like I say, it's a great place to work. A small group of us visit with new employees every time. I just love looking out at the folks. We live in a great community, a lot of folks that really care and want to make a difference.
And you've done such a good job of building that reputation and standing behind it that people relocate. They will move here to work for Valley Health, whether it's in a doctor's office or it's here at this hospital or Shenandoah County or Warren County. They will relocate to be part of that Valley Health family.
You're absolutely right. Now, I've been in the community for 17 years. I wasn't born here like many people, but this is a gem of a community. We raised our 3 kids here. It is a great place to live, a great place to work, and a great community to be involved in.
And that's something you also have to understand and know, because it's one thing to just put an ad out there and say, hey, we're looking for someone to fill this position. You also have to be able to tell them, and this is what your cost of living is going to be, and here are the schools that your kids are going to go to. It's more than just running the hospital. You really have to have your finger on the pulse of the community as a whole.
Of the community, and we have a group of folks that assist with recruiting the physicians. So getting to know those recruits and understanding what their needs are. They may have a child that is active in equestrian sports of some type, and they want to know, where's my kid going to do their hunter jumper stuff at? Or they may attend a mosque and they want to know, is there a mosque close by that I can attend? Or they may have next generation parents that are non-English speaking and they want to know, is there a community there that speaks my parents' language, and where's the closest Croatians or whatever. So it's getting to know people and really understanding what's important, because nothing's worse than having somebody move and come here and 3 years later be like, just isn't a fit, there wasn't a mosque for me or whatever.
I had a conversation recently with one of your newest physicians. Dr. Trimble Spitzer is a fertility doctor. And in that conversation, she talked about her research and the fact that this area was a fertility desert. And she approached you and said, hey, this is something that really is a gap that needs to be filled. You guys could have very easily said, you know what, we just don't have the time or the energy to fill that gap. But that's not what you did. You're also always making sure that all of our healthcare needs are being met, if it includes taking advice from a doctor who does want to relocate here.
That's a good point. We do a physician needs assessment, a very deliberate scientific study every 3 years on what diseases are in the population, what diseases do we expect to have increased incidence of based upon where people are today, based upon the in-migration of people. For instance, we know that the fastest growing population in Frederick, Clark, and Winchester is going to be 65 plus. Mm-hmm. So that makes us think about what are the diseases, and then from that, what are the physician needs. But to your point, we're also a great place for young families. My wife and I would have loved to have had a Dr. Spitzer 25 years ago.
I don't think a lot of people from the outside looking in think about how you have to think about those forecasted needs. I've had many a conversation on air and off air with Jennifer Coelho about the cardiac unit and all of the things that they have in Warren, and it's based on that data and those needs.
It's exactly based on that. And it's a fine balance between what's needed and what can be sustained, because we don't want to offer a service that we're unable to sustain. So that means it has to be at a certain volume where there's more than one doctor often. For most specialties, if you have just one doctor, they're on call 24/7, 365. And when they go on vacation, you no longer offer that service. Or if they're off on the weekend, you don't offer it. So really 2 to 3 is kind of the minimum number of physicians to have in most specialties. And it's finding that mix of what can we sustain, what can we do well in this community. I've said many times in public forums, we're only going to provide safe health care. That is first and foremost. Our number one guideline is we are only going to provide safe health care. And what goes into that is who's providing the care, where you are, what their experience is, how frequently they care for people with the same needs as you, etc. But Valley Health only provides safe health care.
And that is really a selling point in and of itself, I would imagine, for your employees, because I can't imagine someone wants to come work for a company that doesn't follow that very basic rule, particularly when you're in healthcare.
You're right. right? And part of that from the employee perspective is, do I have access? And from the physician perspective, do I have access to the newest and latest equipment? Because if I was trained in one standard at the academic medical center where I was trained, and I have access to this particular type of MRI or this particular type of CT study or robots or whatever, then I'm going to want to know, do I have access to that in my new employer? And so knowing that we invest in that we want to be right out there on the cutting edge with most of the services that we're providing. And that's why we're able to recruit such talented people.
I think another perk too is just how commutable our area is. So while you have hospitals in Warren County, Shenandoah County, Page County, across the state line, in Berkeley Springs, here in Winchester, you can live in any one of those areas and easily commute to any of the other medical campuses. Makes it a whole lot easier. It might be a little cheaper to live in Inwood, but that doesn't mean I can't work at Shenandoah Memorial Hospital.
You're absolutely right. That's one cool thing about the way our geography is laid out. And once you're here for a little bit, it all feels just so close together.
Right. People don't notice when they've crossed over a county line or they've left the city of Winchester and now they're in Middletown or Stephen City. People don't notice that because it is so easy.
Yeah, you can go north on 81 and be in 4 states in 40 minutes.
So if somebody is listening today and they're thinking, you know what? I want to work for Valley Health, or I want my kids who maybe are in college or not thinking about college, because you don't necessarily have to have a college degree to work for Valley Health. What would you recommend that they do? Is there a place on your website they should go?
First, I'm really glad you said that. There are opportunities to participate in healthcare, to be one of those sacred people in every community, whether you have a high school diploma, GED, an associate's degree, all the way up to a doctorate. There's a role for everyone. As I've said, it's a great place to work. So what we'd like you to do is visit us at valleyhealthlink.com, click on careers. There's some great information. There's some videos and some downloadable information about the organization, but there's also a listing of positions there, and our recruiters would be overjoyed to speak with you and learn about what your interests are and what might be a good fit. As you pointed out, we're always hiring, we're always growing.
You're always open.
We're always open, yeah. We just had the first review of our budget with the board last night and identified a few hundred positions we'll be hiring over the next year. So there's always lots to do.
Thank you for taking the time to give me some insight into all of it. I appreciate it.
You are most welcome. Thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful day.
Well, that's it for me today, but if you're looking for cool, fun things to do this weekend, I highly recommend checking out Winchester's Winter Village on the Walking Mall in Old Town Winchester. Tons of vendors for shopping, a glue vine trail for sipping, strolling carolers, and even horse-drawn wagon rides down the Walking Mall. Kicks off tonight with the Santa Pub Crawl to benefit Froggy's Closet, and then runs Saturday from 11 till 6 and Sunday from 10 till 4. Plus, but wait, there's more. My dear friend and co-host for Shenandoah County's Tourism Tuesday, Carrie Hahn, is having her studio open house this weekend in Woodstock on Saturday and Sunday from 10 until 5. So pop in to say hello, check out her amazing pottery, and tell her how much you enjoy having her on the show. No matter what you decide to do this weekend, make it a great one, and I will meet you back here on Monday just a few minutes after noon.